Mario Kart World is finally out with the launch of Nintendo Switch 2, and we've been able to play it, and we'll be giving you some of our thoughts and impressions in this video. Welcome everyone, this is One Up Gaming, and I'm here with Akela, and I'm your host Alex.
We have been playing this game basically all week since we got it at launch, and it has definitely been such a fun experience. Like, overall, I'm super impressed with this game, and I definitely feel like it is probably one of the best Mario Karts out there. I do think there are some lacking of content in certain parts of it, but overall, it's a really solid game. The mechanics are really fun, the courses are really exciting. I have yet to find a moment in the game where I'm like, I absolutely hate this. And I remember in previous entries, I felt that way about several courses in certain, parts of the game, and I never wanted to touch them. So, what do you think about that?
To me, this game has been very impressive. I really enjoyed the new mechanics this game implements. I love one of the modes they included, which we'll be talking about here. I'm pretty sure most of you are already familiar with it. There's some things I thought I didn't mind at the beginning in terms of how the courses are like, and I realized that I kind of mind it a little bit, like it starts to feel a little weird. Overall, I really enjoyed the game. I think in terms of lacking content, I think it's just in a couple of the modes, but I think as the game progresses, the game's gonna gain content for sure. And one thing I was gonna mention too is the pricing of the game. For me, the price it seems a little too much. Like, I think if you want to play this game, the best way to get its value will be to get it with the Switch 2, like in the whole bundle. I know that that's a limited edition or limited thing they're doing as well. So to me, if you want to play Mario Kart World, that's the best way you can get the best value out of your buck, pretty much.
Yeah, I definitely think even 70 would have been pushing it though on this game. Like, quite frankly, I think it's still at a $60 range, especially because this is kind of like a repeat game they have. Yeah, they change things, but overall it doesn't change that much.
I thought about this earlier today. I think people wouldn't have mind 70. I could be wrong, but I just feel like you get games like Assassin's Creed Shadows, you get other games that are $70, like Dragon Age Developer last year, and people don't get their value out of the game. And I really think this game is way more valuable than those games bring to the table, because you get a whole game. There's no microtransactions in there. Now, yes, I think the $80 price tag is too much, but even then, I still think you get more value for your buck with $80 in this game than you do with those couple examples I just explained, at least in my opinion, because those two games are not 70 for me. I think those two games should be, I'll be honest, Assassin's Creed Shadows should be a $20 game. Let's be real.
I mean, you're right. When you're comparing it that way, it definitely makes it seem like it's definitely more worth it. But still, you could argue that either way, those also were very much overpriced and weren't worth it. I was thinking we could just kind of go over some of those, kind of the base game and what's in it. So to start off, it obviously has Classic Grand Prix mode. They have how many different cups? There's 8 cups total. So that's pretty good overall. I think there's obviously 4 courses per cup, like it's been for as long as I remember. They've also got versus races. They've got this new mode called Knockout Tour. They have the free roam mode, and then they obviously have battle. And for those who like to speed run everything, they have a time trial as well. So pretty good amount of modes. I definitely think, in my opinion, my favorite mode is that new one, the Knockout Tour. And then I really like also the versus mode, and I'll get to that in a little bit.
I think that goes along with Grand Prix. You know how now you have to drive yourself to get to the next course. I first thought I didn't mind that feature, but as we were playing the game, I kind of started feeling like we just did one lap of Toad Factory, or we just did one lap of this other course that I thought I didn't feel like I enjoyed it as much, and then you start the next race, and then you're leaving that course, and then you're again in the middle of the race. You're going to the next one, and it just feels like you don't get enough of the course. Even though at the end of the day, you're just doing one lap. Like, if it was classic Mario Kart, you would just do the same 3 laps. Over here, you just enjoy it once. But I guess it's more like a mental thing when it's like, feels short.
This is definitely one of my issues that I've taken from the Grand Prix. It's not that you drive from course to course. It's that driving in between the courses counts as a lap, right? So realistically, the only course that you get in each of the Grand Prix Cups that you do the full 3 lapses is the very first one. And then from there, each course you drive there, that counts lap, and then you do one, maybe 1.5 laps by the time it's all said and done on that next course. And then before you know it, you're moving on to the next one. And then really the last course, the fourth one, always you feel the most gypped. I mean, and now granted, they do make up for this because you can do them in verses, but I originally thought that the Grand Prix mode would be you do your 3 laps, then you drive to the next place, right? Then you do your 3 laps and then you drive. Like that made more sense to me. Now, yes, that's more time consuming, sure, but that's what I wanted. That's what I expected. So this is a little bit of a disappointment. I don't think it's a huge issue. It was just it's still super fun. And it keeps the Grand Prix Cups a little more exciting almost to some degree, just because then you're not just repeating the same, thing over and over again.
As I mentioned, it's more of a mental being used to what Mario Kart is kind of thing of like, you just do the same lap over and over 3 times or 7 times, whatever it takes. And I'll be honest, my brain just like, oh, I just saw Toad Factory for 1 lap and now I'm gone in the next course or the next race. And it's like, that's a little weird, but it's nice, like you mentioned, at the same time that you're able to not have the same thing like the whole time. Like the whole course is just different. For example, I'm a GameCube guy. I played Double Dash a lot growing up, and Peach Beach is like one of my favorite courses. And and I saw that this was in the game, and I remember, the first lap of that reminded me of that course a lot because it's the same almost. But then you do the second lap, and it's like they just made it differently. The second lap is different, and the third lap's different. Like there's more stuff. I was a little disappointed, I'll be honest, because I was like, I just want to do the whole thing 3 times. But then I thought, this is nice that they're able to expand the course.
It's pretty cool because of the open world aspect. When you do get into like verses, for example, you can choose to actually do those 3 laps if you only want to do the one course. I think what you're describing too is more an issue of some of the older courses that were added. So like the Toad's Factory, the Cheap Cheap Beach, the Peach Beach.
But Toad Factory is the same lap. They don't change it. If you do the versus mode and
No, I know. That's how all the courses are, right? You do the original 3 laps in versus, but your issue with the Grand Prix, I think, is mostly due to the fact that the old courses that you know how they go. They subvert your expectations because they, you just get used to how it goes when you played them as a kid, and now it's a little different because they change it up. But I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing overall. One thing I do like about, though, the verses, I already said this, is that you can do the normal 3 laps, but then you can also do the in-between courses, and it's a bunch of options. Like, there is a lot of actual variety within the verses mode. I haven't even gotten to try all of them yet because there are a lot of options, but I think that's really, really cool, and I'm excited to be able to do more of that, and I think that's where they have the most content. And it's kind of funny because they don't really show off that part. They really were showing off a lot of the free roam, like open world part and the knockout tour.
And the new mechanics, which they're a big player in this game for sure. Like, it's what makes this game stand out of all the Mario Karts.
Yeah, but I definitely don't think like the free roam is really that interesting. I've already heard this from some other people. It's a pretty kind of bland open world. Like, you just kind of drive around and you hope you find things, and there's those buttons you can push that gives you challenges, but overall it's kind of okay.
One problem this game had is in the menu, at least with the open world, the icon for the free roam, it's like hidden. Well, it's not hidden, but it's like not obviously there. You have single player, multiplayer, online mode, settings, and the big button. And then you have little tiny buttons that says manual. And then there's one that says free roam.
No, it's a map. But there is...
Oh yeah, it's a map, actually. Yeah, it's just an icon.
Let me tell you, though, because I discovered this actually just today. If you just push the plus button or the minus button on your controller, then depending on which Joy-Con you have, it'll just put you right into free roam. And the character you see on that main screen and like the location they're at, that's you. And it immediately puts you in. So it's actually kind of cool, but you're right, it's kind of hidden. It's like I didn't notice it at the beginning until today when I was just playing by myself.
Yeah, one thing I was gonna say that I wish this game would benefit too, if it's trying to push people to use the free roam, is why don't you just when you start the game, just load straight to the free roam. Don't give me a menu. Like, just load me straight to the free roam and I can just roam around, have me drive to a place where you can do the Grand Prix. And there's another place that there's the knockout tour where you can start doing that mode. Or you could just let me just push a button and have the menu for, oh, you want Grand Prix. But I just feel like the free roam should be like, what you see from the start of the game and not a menu.
I mean, but the menu is a menu. There's a reason why they exist. Is for convenience sake.
I can see that for sure.
That just seems like a personal preference.
It's just, for me, it just seems like easier or just a better way for me to, at least for me, I feel like I'll be more motivated to do that in Mario Kart, to use the free roam a little bit more.
There's one thing that surprises me though about free roam is that it doesn't support the local 2-player on that one. Like, because I know they were always saying, like, oh, you can drive around with your friends. And I was so excited for that, because let's be honest, it's not that interesting all by yourself. But to be able to do it with friends is fun. But you have to be able to play online, I think, for that. And there's no option to do it for 2-player on the same console when, like, half the other modes have that ability. I don't understand why they can't just do it in free roam either. So that's a little bit of a frustration, especially because, if you don't have friends who want to play online, right, or you don't want to pay for their online thing, then, that limits you to certain modes if you want to play with friends.
I can agree with that. And I mean, for what I've seen from free roam, and I kind of tried it a little bit, it seems fine. I don't think it's a big thing. I don't think I'm playing Mario Kart to free roam. Let's be real. At least me. At first I thought, oh, what a cool idea. You could do now challenges. One cool thing I will say about free roam is because of the new mechanics, you are able to explore, go through the courses that you'll be racing at, learn the shortcuts or learn how you can get to this place using the new mechanics, like all the grinding and the jumping and all the tricks, I see that as useful because you can practice, but other than that, I don't see that much value, really.
I mean, it's a great idea. I just do wish there was a little bit more to it. It is kind of just there to exist. And I feel like coming to my favorite part of this game, I feel like the open world and all of this stuff was built to basically support the new mode, the knockout. Basically, knockout tour it makes you drive from like 5 different of the courses. And basically, right, as you go through, you get knocked out if you don't get a certain place, right? And then it just getting smaller and smaller each time. Fewer and fewer players. But I think this is the best mode they could have possibly added to a Mario Kart game. We've been playing this mode online, and it is pure chaos. It is so incredible. And you're in first place, and the next thing you know, you're in the very last place, and then you get hit by a shell right before you cross the finish line. And now you're out of the race because some idiot,
To me, this mode is what Mario Kart's all about. It's about fun, chaos, and unfairness. Definitely unfairness. A lot of unfairness in this one. But even though you feel frustrated of how unfair it is, you're still having fun because it's Mario Kart.
Yeah, I don't know. There's just something so much more motivating about reaching each checkpoint and being like not out.
It does bring that competitive out of you more than the Grand Prix, because the Grand Prix is like, I'm last, I just suck, right? And this one's like, if you're out, you're out of the race. Like, there's still more race to go. You won't be able to do that, and you just have to prove that you're able to survive through the chaos.
Yeah, this is definitely the shining jewel of Mario Kart World, in my opinion. It is what makes it so fun. And I also worry though that as you play online and more people get really good at doing the tricks and learning how to do all the shortcuts, it's going to become a nightmare. But for now, it is so fun, and obviously you can still play it with just the computer. You don't have to play with other people.
But I'll be honest, the online aspect, playing this online I remember putting that on our first time We played online. After we played with the computer, it was just a bunch of people just clumped to each other, just throwing shells and throwing a bunch of crap in there. It's like, yeah, I can't even run here. I can't even race.
You're not even, you can never be safe. That's what's funny about it. Yeah, so I think there's a lot of good things about what they've done with this game. I also think there's some things that could be improved upon. I think some of the menu, I like the way they do their menus is kind of odd. So like for example, when you're picking your character in your car, I don't know why. There's just something about that menu system that for me is hard to deal with. I have to scroll across. You can't just see all your characters.
I feel like that's kind of
I
nitpicky.
probably is.
Because I don't mind it. I think it's all right. It's just the menu.
It just makes it hard to like see all your options, right? And then as you get new characters, you get characters with new costumes, right? It just makes your list longer. You have to scroll longer to find what you want.
That's true. That's true. I wish instead they'll let you just grow with the like you have 5 characters, right? No, 5 characters. I'm sorry. Like let's say you want to pick Mario and you have 5 different skins for him. Why do you have a different Mario in the menu? Why can I just pick the skin in the same Mario icon?
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's a fair criticism there, for sure. Because I think that just makes the list longer when it doesn't need to be. You just have. Why can't you just go to Mario and then you just I don't know move a joystick or you can even click on him and then you can pick his skin if you want. Pick normal or pick him as a tourist or whatever, right? One thing I think it's a little I don't like as much either is the fact that there's characters that you can't get skins from, like Cow.
Yeah, because like if they're not a main character, they don't have costumes or different skins. And that is a little disappointing because there is a huge variety of different, characters to choose from. Like, why bother? It makes me go, why bother using this guy if I'm not going to be able to get another cool, fun skin, or like, why go for like the food items as this character? It's just, that's kind of an odd choice. I hope it's something that they add on later. Fingers crossed. Probably won't, but that you're right. It's kind of a, kind of dumb thing they didn't do. So come on. Who wouldn't want to see Cal wearing like a Mario outfit?
One thing I like too is the new mechanics they added, and that you can wall run, you can grind, and like the rails, and you can be creative trying to get places with it. I really think I don't know what you think about those mechanics. I really think that I feel like that's something the Mario Kart franchise needed so it didn't get stale. Mostly after Mario Kart 8 and the success it had with the Switch, bunch of courses, and it almost felt like they already perfected the formula that it couldn't be better. And I really thought the way they approached the gameplay in this one it makes it a unique experience that makes it so it's fresh for Mario Kart. That plus the knockout tour.
Oh yeah, definitely. The mechanics are so cool. They are actually very hard to accomplish though. I find so many times I'm trying to do the charge up so I can jump up onto a wall or a rail, and the next thing I know I'm drifting when I didn't want to drift. You can't touch the joystick at all if you want to like charge up for that. It's just so hard. But I mean, that's what makes it satisfying when you make it happen, If you can get that wall jump back and forth, especially like in the Donkey Kong course. And it's funny because when you watch when they first announced the game and they were showing you what you could do, they make it look so easy. And then I was trying to do it and I'm like, yeah, I'm making myself lose this race trying to make this happen. I mean, I've already seen people, do some insane things with it. And it's just, a lot of fun. It's such a cool way of mixing up that formula that they've perfected and taking it another place.
I definitely think it adds a level of complexity that the franchise I don't think ever had. Like this makes the game a little more complex.
And it gives more variety to like secret pathways or like ways to get to things or like being able to skip over sections of the course. Because if you're smart about it and you can figure out how to like grind on some like random cable that's out in the middle of nowhere and skip a whole section of the course, then you've just got so many more options with that, which is so much fun.
But that's the thing I love too is that you don't just have to learn how the mechanic works, like how to move it. You also have to learn the course. Like you have to learn what places are there that you could do this. It's just complex in that sense. I just feel like you have to be very precise sometimes as well. Like you mentioned, you're drifting or because it's the same button essentially. Sometimes you're just gonna find yourself drifting instead of actually doing what you want to do. But yeah, it's complete fun. I really enjoy it.
Yeah. I mean, I would definitely recommend this game for anybody who is a lover of the Mario Kart franchise. I don't necessarily think you need to have it day one. I don't think you need to buy the Switch right off the bat. It's not quite worth it. You know, there's still like, again, lots of fun to be had in some of the older Switch titles. The old Mario Kart 8 is still plenty fun, especially because they have all of those extra DLC courses on that one, where this one does have fewer courses just naturally, but it's super fun. It's a lot of cool things that they've come up with this new game, and I'm super glad with, how it turned out.
I recommend this game to anyone that likes Mario Kart. I mean, if you got a Switch too, it's a must have. I think the game moves great. It looks great on the Switch too. We actually played it yesterday, and then after we turned on Mario Kart 8 on the Switch too, just to compare not just how the game is in general, but also like the graphics and how it looks. And man, you could see the difference right off the bat. As soon as you boot the game, you could even see that how different.
Yeah, Mario Kart
nice.
looks like an old game now.
Yeah, Mario Kart World just looks so nice and if, like I said, it feels so smooth. I definitely, like she mentioned, don't think you need it day one. I don't think you don't want to get a Switch to day one. That's fine. There's not that many games. That's, of course, comes with any launch, barely launched console. A very launch console doesn't have that many games in the beginning. In the long run, yes, it will have plenty of them. If you want to have a variety of options, then yeah, I would say wait for a Switch 2. If you want to get Mario Kart World, I recommend if you could get it with the bundle. That's probably the best way, or if you can find a deal somewhere, because I do think $80 is too much for this game. But it's still a lot of fun. I have fun playing this. I kind of playing it daily at this point.
Yeah, I definitely think it's something that you'll have long-term fun playing, which is exactly what you want out of a game like this. You want to have longevity and be able to, come back and always enjoy.
And I do think they give this, if they support this game in the long run of the Switch 2, I think this could be this is a good Mario Kart coming after Mario Kart 8, when they add more courses, if they do, or, they make free roam a little better, add more challenges, add more things to do there. I think this game can improve over time for sure.
There is so much opportunity for them to make it bigger and better. And my hope is they do that, because this could definitely top, in my opinion, Mario Kart 8. They just are lacking a little bit of content, but obviously that game's been out a long time now, and this one's just brand new. So
if they come out with more content that's for free DLCs, I would say yes, $80 is probably worth it. You had the booster pass for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and that was like $50, I think, or $40 just by itself. Plus the game that's $60, that's almost $100. When people compare both games, it kind of doesn't make sense, because Mario Kart 8 Deluxe already came with included DLC from the Wii U. It's an older game, and then they added a booster pass DLC, which was like $40-$50. Just making the comparison, I think this game can be improved, or can be valuable at $80 if they add free content.
Which they probably won't, because we all know how Nintendo works, but one can dream, right?
You never know, but yeah, sure. Anyway, this is our takes for Mario Kart World. Leave in the comments, what are your thoughts of the game if you played it? Leave a like, subscribe. We'll see you guys next time.